All right, so we're going to do a quick review here of the Christensen Arms Mesa. This rifle's in 300 Win Mag, which I know a lot of guys are going to love since I often advocate against magnums for most folk. Not because I don't see the benefit or because I don't like them, but simply because in my experience, most people do not shoot them well. So it is not nice out today. Winds are about 15 out of the east-southeast. For reference, my range is pointing straight west here. So we're going to do just some quick shooting so you can see that this gun is capable of the accuracy that I tell you it is, and then we're going to probably move inside where the weather is much nicer. So hang with me here. I will try and get set up. I've been having some issues with the camera. It definitely does not like the cold. It's shut off about 3 times now. So all right, bear with me. First shot here is going to be 200 yards just to verify zero on the gun. It'll be the white target on the left side of the screen. So you probably didn't see it with the recoil, but you probably definitely heard it. So that was a good hit, about a ½ inch off of the bullseye. So we're going to move out to the white target just to the right of the big trees there, which is the 300-yard target. So bear with me while I move some things here and get set up for that shot. Alright, so there's 2 there, the big one on the left, and then there's a 2 MOA target just to the right of it. We're going to shoot at the 2 MOA target if this wind lets up. And that stupid camera keeps falling over. So I don't know if you've seen the shot or not, but it was another good hit out there. Let me try to zoom in here. And then way out here is the 400. So we're going to do a 400 shot. That's a long shot in these conditions. We got a really good square hit on that center target there, the 300-yard target, about an inch right of center. So we're going to hold some wind and we're going to try a 400. Hopefully the camera stays standing. I got it propped here. So give me a second to move my bags and get ready for this shot. All right, just standing by, watching the wind here for a second. We're going to hold about 6 inches left. And we're off. So let me try one more here. All right, so a good hit there. I am about 3 inches left of the bullseye, so I was holding a little too much for wind. So stand by here. I'm going to move inside where the weather is much nicer, and then we'll go over a tabletop review. Again, Christensen Arms Mesa. This one is in 300 Winchester Magnum. My nephew bought this as his first Western hunting gun. Not his first rifle, but his first Western hunting gun. Bear with the noise here. I'm going to be shedding some clothing. A couple years ago, and it's been a good gun, right? So I don't know if there is a rifle that is currently more hated, other than maybe some of the fierce or the Fury stuff, than the Christensen Arms, right? They just, people, it seems like guys I know that have them have multiple of them and speak very highly of them, but a lot of guys just, they don't like the rifles. This is the only one I've shot. I have no real experience with them, so I'm just going to give you my opinions on this specific rifle. But I understand that there's just a lot of frustration with Christensen, the way they deal with customer service and stuff when they produce rifles that don't live up to people's expectations, and that sucks. Because this rifle is a fairly high price range. So I will tell you that this rifle in particular shoots very well. I've had no issues with it. It shoots right at or just over MOA to 400 yards under good conditions, which we obviously did not have today. The first two shots, and I am getting a digiscoping adapter like it said so you can see the hits, but the first two shots were within an inch of the bullseye at 200, 300. I was dealing with a lot of wind at 400 again. I know I'm making excuses, but again, this rifle is capable of better than 2 MOA accuracy with hunting loads all day long. So we will go over some of the features. Despite the fact that it shoots well, I certainly do not love everything about it. So let's kind of start at the muzzle and we'll go back from there. So this one does come threaded. Obviously, it comes with a brake, and the brake is actually tapered to the same contour as the barrel, and it's almost hard to see the seam there. I'm sure you can, but it fits very well. I have not had any issues with this brake loosening up. I've seen a few guys that said that their brakes come loose, but this one has been good. You know, muzzle crown looks decent. Brake is fairly effective. So again, I don't feel like a lot of people shoot magnums well, myself included. And when I say I don't shoot them well, I mean I don't shoot them as well as the standards, right? I generally shoot them certainly accurately enough to hunt with to 400 or 500 yards. But again, I'm just trying to provide honest information for people. Contour in this barrel is very good. They did a great job. I do not like extremely light contour barrels in Magnum rifles. This one is, you know, it's kind of a mid contour. It's pretty much a straight contour. I don't see a lot of taper in it, and I think it's very appropriate for the caliber. So finish on this looks really good. This is Cerakoted. There are a few scratches and stuff in it. It has been used out west for a couple years, so no surprise there. I've not seen any flaking or any overall finish issues. So move back here, we have a loopholed 1 or 0 MOA rail on there. Just for reference, scope is a Leupold VX5 HD, which is a great scope in my opinion. We will get into some of the working mechanisms here quick. The bolt on this runs pretty well, slides good. There's not an excessive amount of flop. This is a 700 pattern bolt. I mean, you're always going to have that. I've had no issues with the bolt as far as, you know, forward, backward, picking up rounds, things like that. The one thing I do notice with this gun quite frequently is it definitely needs a good forward push on the bolt handle to close the bolt on a cartridge. So again, this gun is clear. I did just shoot it. I'm aware of the condition. But again, this is cycled well. It feeds well, but it just definitely needs that stern forward push, forward and down to get a round chambered, which is, it's not uncommon. It's a little more difficult than I guess I was expecting with this caliber rifle, and that could be based on the design of the bolt. So see if we can get it out here quick. Again, just a Remington 700 style bolt, 2 lugs, 2 plunger ejectors, a claw extractor in there. It's pretty dirty. Bolt is fluted. Again, nice looking bolt, nice looking gun. Let me see if I can get it back together here one-handed. And again, just overall, the bolt is decent. They definitely cut weight from this rifle everywhere they could, which is one of the things you're going to hear me not like about the rifle, just in some of the design features. One of them is the bolt handle. So again, it won't just go down. Got to get that forward push in there. All right, so they skeletonized, or they cut, you know, relief cuts into the bolt handle to save weight. I don't care, that's fine with me, but what I will say is I don't like the knob. This knob is just, it's ridiculously small. It feels strange in the hand. I think a bigger bolt knob would help overcoming some of that pressure in chambering rounds. And I guess I'm not sure why they want so minimum. You can probably replace it. I don't see the need to do that. Just know that it's going to take a little more effort to chamber rounds with this gun than with a lot of the other ones out there. So this one has an internal box magazine. I have had no issues with it. The floor plate, let me slide this back a smidge. Floor plate comes open just fine. It's not bound up in there. Drops the mags or the rounds as it should when that's open. I will say that if you listen, you can hear and probably see the movement here in the internal box, which is absolutely necessary on box magazines. So they did a good job on that. Again, it closes up right away. Now I won't get it since I'm talking about it. Snaps right up there. So they did a good job. I see a lot of rifles where that box does not float and it causes some pretty significant issues. I have no preference over a box magazine or a detachable magazine. I know a lot of people do. I've never had an either with both. All right, I've never lost a mag hunting. You know, I have no issue though with internal box magazines. They're just, you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to check your mag now and then. Again, this one feeds very well, so I have no gripes about that. We will close this up. The first thing I do have a major gripe about on this rifle, which again is just personal preference, and I know a lot of people have disagreed with in my videos, is the safety does not lock the bolt. So I find that very aggravating, especially in this price range. It makes absolutely no sense to me why you'd try and produce a rifle, you know, in this price range with a great barreled action, a good bolt, you know, reliable feeding, stuff like that. Something truly designed for lightweight hunting in the mountains, and then put a safety on there that does not lock the bolt. I absolutely hate that. That is one of the first things I will give this rifle a strike on, is that. So again, that's personal preference. I know a lot of guys don't care. The way I hunt now, it's not as important. When I was bushwhacking up through the mountains, gaining 3,000–4,000 feet of elevation, it was extremely important. So to each their own. Trigger on this, so trigger guard is fine, no issues there. You got plenty of room for a gloved finger. My hands are still cold from being outside, so forgive my 3/4 gloves. Trigger has these raised ridges in there. We will see. I don't know if I'll be able to get it to focus, but it does feel good on the finger. You get a little bit of bite there. Again, it seems like a well-designed trigger. I'm going to check for the 8th time and make sure we are clear. So trigger pull on this gun is actually good. I turned it down all the way when he had it out here this summer and was setting it up. I have no issue with the trigger pull. It comes in about 2 pounds 6 ounces all the way down. I was a little disappointed I couldn't get it lower than that, but overall it's a good trigger. It's very acceptable in my opinion for this price range. I mean, you have just absolutely no take up, and there's just a small amount of movement there with the pull. So I feel like the trigger in this is certainly capable of helping you shoot well. Moving on, I guess we're up to kind of the last thing, and the thing that I am gonna kind of beat on. I do not like the stock on this rifle. This is one of the poorest designed stocks in my opinion that I have ever seen in my life. And again, it is functional, right? It does what it's meant to do. It cuts weight. You know, it's rigid enough you can shoot it off a bipod if you're not loading into it with a ton of weight. There are just a couple things with the stock that just really piss me off. So the first thing is, it is an extremely round stock. There is just absolutely no flatness to the bottom of this stock whatsoever. I have no idea why they designed it that way. Again, my guess would be to cut all the weight they possibly can. But the very first time he brought this out here, I grabbed it out of the case. You know, I looked it over. I set it on the shooting bags on my bench, and the gun tipped over. Right, so, and I have a ton of rifles through here every year. That is extremely uncommon. I was like, what, you know, what the heck? Maybe did I cant it? I don't know. So I tipped the gun up. I started walking away, and the gun tipped over again. So I looked at the stock, and like I said, it is like about the roundest freaking stock I've ever seen. It just does not at all do a good job of sitting on a bag or the top of a pack or laying across a pack and stuff like that. I feel like I am constantly fighting with this gun to try and keep it vertical. To me, that's a very poor design. Why they would not put some sort of a flatter forend or an archer rail or some sort of option in this price range, I don't know. So that is one of the pet peeves. The stock does free float the barrel. I will say, and it is properly free floated. I don't know how well you can see it in the light. We've had no issues with barrel to stock contact, anything like that. He does shoot it off a bipod. He's pretty good at not loading into it super hard, so no issues there. The stock finish has been good. I know a lot of guys say that their finish just falls off on these, rubs off. Again, this one has been on a couple Western hunting trips. I have not seen any like obvious blemishes in the stock with the finish falling off, scraping off, anything like that. So I have no issue there. The second issue I have with the stock is just the length of the pistol grip. It's extremely long, right? With the modern trend, which I like, toward vertical grips, you know, I just feel like this pistol grip should be up here. I don't understand why it's so long and tapered. Because of that, it feels very strange in the hand. It's a very long reach to the trigger, right? I have average size hands, but for people with smaller hands, I think that's really going to be an issue. If this was my gun, I would either consider restocking it or just putting something, you know, up here and just taping it on. I feel like that is just a ridiculously long trigger reach. And again, I don't understand why they did that. It's very narrow up here as well. You know what I mean? There's not a really great place. There's nothing to set a thumb on. Not a great platform for long range shooting. And then the third gripe I have about the stock here is the recoil pad. So all in all, I mean, it's soft, right? It is adequately soft. That part they did a good job on. Again, the recoil of this gun in 300 Win Mag with the brake and the recoil pad is definitely tolerable. But what they did is they beveled it out. Let me move it here so you can see it better in my light. So this center part is raised up, and then they beveled the sides down, which again, that makes no sense to me why they did that. It's a nice soft pad. It grips the shoulder well, but you get all of that recoil just right here in the center of the pad, and this extra, you know, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on either side really doesn't contact the shoulder. And I definitely feel that when I'm shooting the gun. Again, I'm kind of a wussy. I like nice soft shooting around guns. You know, I like my AirTech recoil pads. Again, just another really weird design feature, and I don't understand that. You put a nice soft recoil pad on there, why bevel it? So that is kind of my overall kind of nitpicks and gripes about this. I will sum it up here quick. This gun has been really good. It's been really accurate. We're shooting Precision Hunter today. Did I grab the box? I did not grab the box. I believe they're 200 grain. Wrong pocket. Give me a second. It also shoots terminal ascent well. It's been just a good, accurate gun. Again, under 2 MOA in real field conditions, certainly capable of more than that, but accuracy has been good. So I like the barreled action. I think the barrel's a great contour. The brake works very well. The bolt runs fairly well. Definitely needs more of a forward push than a lot of them, but I have not had any issues getting the rounds chambered. I was watching a backfire video with Jim the other day, the 7 PRC, and he was having substantial issues trying to chamber rounds. I have not found that with the terminal ascent or the Hornady. Again, I don't like the bolt handle. I think that knob should definitely be bigger. I like the internal box magazine. The box is free floated. The hinge drops well. The 2-position safety would be fine if it would actually lock the bolt, but it does not, which pisses me off. The trigger on this is good. The stock sucks, and the recoil pad is average. So again, overall, that is my review. I know a lot of guys hate these rifles, and they're looking for me to just completely condemn it and put it down. However, I can't. As far as 300 Win Mags go, this has been a good rifle. He's going to keep it. He has no plans of getting rid of it, nor is there any reason for him to do so. I will say that there are other guns I would definitely prefer in this price range, but again, everyone kind of has their own ideas and opinions. And all in all, this gun gets 1.5 thumbs up from me. Again, that stock is just freaking annoying with how round that is. It could get 1 3/4 with a little better stock and a flat recoil pad. But all in all, not a bad gun. So again, my video quality is going to get better. I have a microphone and a phone scope on the way. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm just trying to put out honest, objective information. I have nothing invested in this. I have spent 0 money on this gun. It's not my personal rifle. The only thing I've done is just bought ammo for it. So hit the like and subscribe. I should also have a Weatherby 307 video coming up here shortly. I hope everybody had a great day. I hope everybody had a great deer season. I did end up taking a buck second to last day, and we had a pretty good season overall. So happy fall, or happy early winter, and I hope you're better weather where you're at than where we're at. Have a great day.